Hello, testing, 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Good morning.
Hello.
How is everyone?
Good.
Very good, thank you. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, very well. How are you?
I'm good. Now the presentation, will that immediately appear, or shall I start my spiel anyway?
Oh, we're live now, so welcome to everybody who's joined.
Good to go. Well, welcome everybody, and depending on where you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, buenas noches, buenas Shanghai. Welcome to the ABBA pre-departure for the rest of the world. My name is Giles Jacobs, and I'm currently in China, and I'm delighted to take part in today's pre-departure webinar, where I will also be joined by my colleague, Jack, and also a couple of students at Aberystwyth, Vivi and Lucia.
Hello.
Before we get started, it would be really interesting for all of us to learn where some of you are from. So if you could quickly hop into the chat, your name and where you're from, and maybe the welcome in your local language, that would be a fantastic way to kick things off. Today's session will be divided into two parts. There will be a PowerPoint presentation, and that will be followed by a question and answer session, where we will really encourage you to come forward with any questions that you may have about anything related to what's being discussed today, or anything about your arrival or after you get to Aberystwyth that you'd just like some clarification on. So please feel free to answer those questions as often as you like. We have plenty of time set aside for today's session. Before we begin, though, I think it will be useful for us to each quite quickly introduce ourselves. Now, my name's Giles. I'm currently based in China for the university. I've worked in international education for around about 20 years now, but I only joined Aberystwyth just over a year ago. So I'm part of the international recruitment and development team, and within China, I also have two colleagues who I work very closely with, as well as Jack, who's based in the UK. We also are helping the university to develop different parts of East Asia. We've also taken a closer look at Central Asia, and more recently, we've started to look at what more we can be doing in different parts of Africa. What you'll find at Aberystwyth as well is there's quite a very broad range of students from all across the world. But for the rest of the world, there'll be certain parts that we've only just started to recruit students. We've only just started to grow our numbers. So we're really delighted that you are joining us this year to enhance to grow the student body, the diversity of students, the different parts of the world that we come from, and the contribution that you'll be making in the classroom and in extracurricular activities as well. So really delighted to have you very soon join us as part of the Aberystwyth family. The presentation will cover a number of different areas, including a bit of a summary on what we've discussed in webinars that have taken place in recent weeks, covering different parts of the world, your arrival, student support. We understand that for you, this is a really exciting part of the journey. It started a long time ago when you started to research about the possibility of studying overseas, where you may want to study, the course and the university. And we're really delighted that you've chosen Aberystwyth as your final destination, and are really looking forward to your arrival very shortly. Student support, student union, life in town, academic studies, health, and finally, There's no getting away from it. COVID, and it's changed the whole world, quite frankly. It's disrupted so many lives, and it's affected so many different communities in all different parts of the world. So I'd really love to thank you for your determination in not letting that interfere with your plan. We're really delighted that you've made that decision and can't wait to greet you in a few weeks' time. And hopefully this time next year, when we do a pre-departure webinar, COVID will be a thing of the past and we won't even need to cover it as a topic. So hopefully that will be something we can look forward to very soon. But next, I'd like to hand you over to my colleague, Jack.
Thank you, Giles, for the introduction. Yes, hello everybody. I'm Jack. I'm one of the regional officers within the international team here at Aberystwyth, and it's fantastic to see some activity in the chat box already. A lot of names that I recognise from countries that I work with. So yes, welcome everybody. Cardlin from Turkey. Hi, hello. Babatunde from Nigeria. Daria from Russia. We've got Abdisamed from Algeria. Hello. People joining from Malaysia, UAE, China, Sri Lanka, Japan. Hello, Momoka. So yeah, all around the world. It's really is rest of the world in today's presentation. So thanks everybody for joining. Yeah, we'll have the chat box live again after the presentation for you to ask any questions that you would like to talk to us about. So yeah, just to provide a brief recap of our previous webinars. Hopefully most of you joining in on the webinar today are already quite far through the admissions process here at Aberystwyth. But if you are sitting on an offer for an undergraduate degree or postgraduate degree and deciding whether you would still like to attend, now is definitely the time to send in your reply. There's just a small bit of time left to get everything organized before the September year starts. So if you do have an offer or reply form with you for an undergraduate degree, please do send that to the UG admissions team as soon as you can. And then also if you have a postgraduate offer here, please send your decision form to our postgraduate admissions team. And in addition to that, you will need to provide us with a lot of documents that might be outstanding conditions for your offer as well. So you may need to send through some of these documents in order to receive your CAS letter if you are still waiting for your draft CAS letter. So I'd advise you to really check all of the conditions on your offer letter and see if there's anything you are still missing here. So this could be a copy of your academic transcript or perhaps an academic reference that you would need from a previous tutor or lecturer from your education institutions. Please make sure you've also filled in and completed, sent back your COVID-19 declaration form as well. And many of you would also need to make payment for the £2,000 international student deposit as well. That would be taken off of your tuition fees. And also once you've made payment for that, please send a proof of payment through to our admissions team if you still need to make your deposit. And lastly, you may also need to show financial evidence that you'll be able to fund your studies here. So that would be the remaining cost of your tuition fees plus £9,207. And that amount would need to be held in a bank account, and the statement would need to show that it's been held in the account for a minimum of 28 days. If you're being sponsored by a parent or guardian, you would also need a approval letter from your parents or guardian that will be sent to our admissions team, as well as a copy of your birth certificate as well. And if you need a template for what that approval letter might look like, then please feel free to contact me and ask after the webinar. So once you have filled in all of these steps and you have received your CAS letter, you can then move on to applying for your visa, which I know many of you on the call have started to do now as well. And in a previous webinar, we had our fantastic international student advisor, Rosa, do a guide through what applying for your visa looks like. And so I'd advise you to have a look at the previous webinars that we have if you've got any doubts on how to apply for your visa. And also, please feel free to contact her. Rosa's email address is on screen there, and we'll also be able to put that into the chat box as well. So once things are sorted with your visa, you're then looking to the next step of arrival here in Aberystwyth. Very exciting. And hopefully some of you are familiar with the airport pickup service that we are providing, a service we put on each year from Birmingham Airport on selected dates. And those dates are shown on the left-hand side of the screen here. So we're getting very close now, just a couple of weeks away from our first pickup dates for students. And this is a really helpful service if you are able to arrange your travel to come in via Birmingham International Airport. We send over coaches at different times of the day that's got some of our international staff members on, perhaps some of our global ambassador students such as Lucia and Vivi joining the call today. And we would meet you at the airport and make sure you get on the coach towards Aberystwyth and drop you off at your accommodation. We provide a lunch for you during the trip, and there's a comfort break as well. And typically the journey would take about 3 hours to get from Birmingham Airport to Aberystwyth. So it's a good time to chat and meet some of us, or catch up on some sleep if you've had a really long journey as well. If you're staying in our university accommodation, then you can pick up your key for accommodation on the coach travel. So we would look to have all of these keys arranged for you, and they'll be given to you alongside the key collection forms on the coach as well. So that's all handled in good time. We do have a online booking form for the airport pickup service. If you've arranged your travel details and you know this is a service you can take advantage of on those dates, and we'll also drop that booking form into the chat box as well. There are, of course, many other travel options to get to Aberystwyth. Other popular routes are via Manchester Airport, which is also around a 3-hour train journey to Aberystwyth. And also we have many students who fly into London, and also a straightforward journey from London that typically takes around 5 hours. You would get the train up to Birmingham, and then it's the direct train along to Aberystwyth there. So usually just 2 changes for you if you are arriving at London. And once you arrive at Aberystwyth train station, it's very easy to work your way up to campus. Aberystwyth is a small and of course friendly town, so don't feel afraid to ask anybody for directions or guidance once you get here. But we do have a taxi rank just next to the Aberystwyth train station, and a journey up towards campus would cost less than £5 and only take a few minutes as well. Also, if you are arriving between September 22nd to 25th and you find yourself at Aberystwyth train station towards the end of your journey, the university does run a coach pickup service throughout the day from the train station there. So that can take you up towards campus as well, free of charge, and you can be pointed in the right direction to find your accommodation as well. So, before we move on to this next slide, we're actually just going to put a quick poll onto your screen that you can answer there. And that would be whether you would be traveling from a red zone listed country, an amber zone country, a green zone country, or if at this moment you don't know. So please feel free to put your answer there into the poll, and we'll give it a second just to see those answers come in. See a couple of votes for red list already, and a couple for Amber as well. Amber catching up and overtaking there. Very exciting. Sorry, I felt like I was commentating a horse race. Yeah, brilliant. So mostly red list and amber list in this webinar today. So what I'll do now is I'll just walk through some of the travel requirements and restrictions that you might have when coming towards Aberystwyth as well. Also, it looks like a couple of people not sure as well. So please do make sure to check online, and we'll also be able to provide a link in the chat here to the government website that really thoroughly takes you through the different processes for red list, amber and green as well. So please do familiarize yourself with your travel guidelines. But so we'll start off from red zone countries here, as I saw a number of people selecting red there. So once you, we'll talk about what you have to do prior to traveling first. And you will need to take a COVID test 72 hours before your arrival. And of course, you will only be able to travel if you have a negative result there. You also need to fill in a passenger locator form, which I will show you in our next slide. Once you arrive to the UK, you should have already booked it's a government-managed hotel quarantine. So we'll also put a form into the chat there that links you towards how you can book your quarantine-managed hotels. And that would be for 10 days. It does come at a cost of £2,285, and that includes your food, your transport to the local hotel where you would be staying, and also your tests that you need to take on day 2 and day 8. The university will be subsidising £1,000 of those costs, which you can claim once you arrive in Aberystwyth following your quarantine. I've just seen the links go into the chat there, so please do feel free to take a look at those after the webinar as well. So if you are a student arriving from an amber zone country, most students on the call will be outside of America and EU, so we'll need to have that 10-day quarantine period once you arrive in the UK. The same restrictions apply prior to traveling, so you'd need to have that negative COVID test within 72 hours of your arrival, and also fill in your passenger locator form as well. You will be able to have your 10-day quarantine period within university accommodation or any private sector accommodation that you have booked. You'll also be required to take tests on day 2 and day 8 of your quarantine. When looking to book these tests, you would order those to the reception address of the university, and those would then be handed out to your accommodation rooms as well. So you stay within your quarantined room, and our university staff will provide those to your door. So please make sure that you have booked your tests prior to travel and that you have the paperwork to show you have those tests booked in. We'll also be able to put in a link to the university's reception address, just in case you're unsure, so that when you're booking those tests, you know that they're going to the right place there as well. Lastly, students coming from any green zone countries, you're not required to quarantine once here in the UK, but you will still need to provide that negative COVID test and the passenger locator form, as well as completing a COVID PCR test on day 2 of travel. So again, make sure you have purchased that in advance and sent it to the university reception if staying within our accommodation. Also, another important point to note here is for all of the students staying on campus from an amber zone listed country. So within that 10 days of quarantine, we will provide a food package for you for those 10 days. So you will be looked after there. There'll be 10 days worth of food. And please let our accommodation team know if you have any dietary requirements. And we will, of course, provide this to your dormitory. You can also order food in from external sources, which our student ambassadors will be talking about a little bit later. And if you've got any questions on the travel requirements and restrictions, please do ask us in the Q&A towards the end. So here's just an example of the passenger locator form that you would be required to fill in. Basic information, but please make sure you fill this in correctly, as it may be checked up on by the government. And also a key tip for traveling is make sure that you have all of your documents with you, such as a copy of this passenger locator form as well, and proof that you've booked your COVID tests and that you've had your negative test already as well. Just as much documentation as you can bring with you on paper to make sure everything's covered would be fantastic. So to take a quick look at accommodation and our university campus accommodation, as mentioned before, if you're able to arrive on the airport pickup, we will be able to provide the keys to you on the pickup service. A lot of students arrive between the 22nd to 27th of September. That's when many of the UK students will arrive to university, and we'll have various pickup points for your campus keys during that time. So please do just let our accommodation team know of your arrival at that address there. So that's accommodation@aber.ac.uk. So when you have your travel plans finalised, please inform our team and they'll be able to make sure your key is able to collect. Don't worry if you are arriving to campus at a very late or a very early time when staff typically aren't in work. As long as you've let our accommodation team know, they can provide your key to our security staff on reception, and that they will be able to provide your key to you. Also, if you do happen to be staying in private sector accommodation, please just make sure you have informed your contractors, whoever you are renting with, that you will be arriving on a particular date. Once you get to Aberystwyth, there'll be lots for you to do towards the end of September before the academic year starts. So Welcome Week is the big one that we run every single year here as a university. And that's taking place from September 27th through to October 3rd, with teaching starting on October 4th for many of our students. And so during Welcome Week, there's lots of online activity to get involved with. And if you're out of quarantine or not needing to quarantine, there'll be lots of face-to-face events going on as well. So a few things to run through here. Registration. So on your student record online, once you've created your student account, you will be able to select modules that you are registered for that upcoming academic year. Don't worry if you haven't received any information on this yet. Your academic department will be able to advise you of the appropriate time to register for your classes. Typically, academic departments will also hold induction talks throughout the week as well, which you will be emailed information for directly from the departments. If you've moved into a university accommodation, you'll find that we have residential assistants on site. So these are current students that are responsible for different blocks of accommodation, and their contact details will be available within your apartment. So if you have any difficulties or issues at all regarding your accommodation, then that's a really friendly face to contact in addition to our accommodation staff as well. So the Freshers' Fair is typically a huge event for many universities in the UK, and this is your opportunity to meet all of the clubs and societies that run out of the Students' Union. So we have over 120 different sports clubs and societies that cover a really broad range of interests for you. And it's your opportunity to talk to exec members, hear what the club gets involved with throughout the year, and then sign up as well by providing your email address to receive information throughout the year as well. So a really good opportunity to get involved in some extracurricular activity there during your time. We also have some support from our International English Centre during that week as well. So if you're finding it difficult to acclimatise, perhaps with the language here, then please reach out to our International English Centre if you would like any one-to-one consultations on English language or preparing yourself for academic skills. That's something you are able to access up to 3 times per term free of charge as well. So a really useful resource for you there from our International English Centre. And we'll be able to provide their email address in the chat box as well. So prior to the big Welcome Week kicking off on the 27th, we're also putting on a range of activities from our international team as well, terming this the International Cafe. And so that will be running Monday to Friday from 13th of September to 24th of September. And you can join this whether you are stuck in a quarantine managed hotel and all the activity you're taking part in has to be online, whether you're in our campus accommodation, having come from an amber listed country, or whether you're still in your home country waiting to travel. All of these activities will be online and a good opportunity for you to get involved with the university before being able to set foot out on campus. And so each morning we'll run a session from 11 to 12 UK time, and that could be delivered by one of our university lecturers from a department, for example, giving you a bit of a background to different modules and degree opportunities that we have here, often in very interesting subjects. In the evening times, we will host sessions as well with quite a fun element. So we'll be putting on things such as pub quizzes that you can take part in. We'll be having bingo sessions as well. And so lots of fun games there in the evening for you. And we'll be releasing more details on that in the coming weeks, as well as a flyer that we'll be sending out to all of our international students. So those will be organized on Microsoft Teams. So there'll be a group call that you're able to join very easily. And we'll have some of our international staff team members there as well. So it's also a good opportunity to ask us any questions. Let us know if you've got any concerns at all during those early weeks once you've arrived. And of course, a good opportunity to meet your peers and meet other international students as well before being able to walk around and join your classes. There's a huge amount of student support that we have here for you at Aberystwyth. That's something we definitely pride ourselves in as a university. As Giles has mentioned, a particularly challenging time that we're facing at the moment with COVID. Coming here, you may have to spend a lot of time quarantining before being able to get out and about. So don't worry, lots of different resources and tools available for you. Our student wellbeing support centre, we'll be able to put a link in towards the chat there. And that's a very confidential service that you can have if you're just requiring any support in terms of mental health or other factors, or if you'd just like some additional information, how to set up a bank account when you're here in the UK, for example. Our student support services will be helpful with all of that information. Money management as well. So in addition to setting up a bank account, looking at your finances moving forward also. It could also be a good opportunity towards the beginning of the year to contact our careers services team. So if you're looking to move into a particular field of work, they can help you find job opportunities and work experience opportunities. They can also help you in preparing for interviews, those important interview skills that you have. Working on your CV or resume if you're at the beginning of your job application process, they can assist you with that as well. So lots of different support here is the message. And lastly, before I pass on to one of our Global Ambassador students joining today, I'll just quickly mention our Students' Union that I touched on before. They will be basically the union that's providing the Freshers' Fair service for you in that Freshers' Week, the Welcome Week. And it's run, as it says there, run by students for students at the university. So it's a big building that we have on campus, just next to the library, the Students' Union. So that's where a lot of our clubs and societies meet. It's also got a shop there. It's got a bar. There's places to buy food and just socialize with friends as well. But they also have a lot of important different departments run by these 5 students shown across the bottom there that can help you during your years at university.
If I can just quickly jump in, Jack, and add that number that you see for clubs and societies, it isn't a final number. So once you arrive, there may be a particular area of interest or activity or hobby from your home country that you miss and you would like to share with your new colleagues and peers. Please approach the university, because they're always looking to add to that particular number. So that's something to think about and take on board after you join. If there's something you really miss from home and you'd like to create that in your new environment, then definitely please step forward.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you, Giles. Yeah, a huge variety of societies. But yeah, if you are really passionate about something, it's very easy to create your own as well. We have a number of international student societies here, but it'd be really interesting to see more cultures form their own societies at the university as well. So now I will bring onto screen one of our Global Ambassador students, Vivi, who will talk you through life in town and what there is to do here in Aberystwyth, more of the exciting stuff. So over to you, Vivi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vivi, and I will talk about the life in town. And I will from this kind of the part to show the life in town. And yeah. From this part, this is the restaurant in the town, and they have Italian food, Chinese food, Indian food, Polish, and some local food like famous the fish and chips. And this is picture is I usually go to eat some food, and they have a lot of Chinese restaurant is worth to taste. And then is the beach bonfire. This is in the summer holiday. I usually with my friend go to the beach and barbecue in the by the beach and the bonfire. There is so interesting. And they have a lot of different types of the shop. This is Iceland and the Lego and Tesco. The Morrison is the big supermarket, and you can go to there, buy a lot of food or ingredient and some you need in your life. And there have a lot of clothing shop. You can go to. There have a lot of like second-hand market, and you can join to shopping. And I love to shopping, so yeah, there is a lot of interesting. And then this photos of my cooking, and this is the food I buy from the market and to cook it. And this photo is I with my housemate cooking in the backyard. It's barbecue. And yes, if you like cook, you can practice a lot in your study life. And here have some activities. And the first picture is for the Christmas last year. They have a really big green tree, and all the shop have a light. Turn on the light. Is so beautiful. And the second picture is I going to the clubbing. And this one is with my friend go to take some pictures on the forts. And here the first picture is I going to with my friend to picnic. And then the night we're going to watch the star and to watch the sun rays. And the last picture is I going to shot a promo of the with the student and some tutor to show the promo video. And yes, this is my life in the town. Usually I do in town, and you can find other you interesting to do that. And yeah, this is
Thank you, Phoebe. That was excellent. It's really great to see activities that you've been involved with over the past couple of years here, and also the home cooking. I'm sure is making everybody feel a little bit jealous watching that now. It's approaching lunchtime here. Certainly feeling very hungry seeing all of that delicious food. Yeah, we often find that with international students, if you are missing a bit of home cooking as well, then there are lots of good shops in town for you to buy ingredients, like Vivi says, and good cooking facilities that you have on campus. So was that in the university accommodation you'd been making some of that food as well, Vivi?
Yes. Last year I live in the student accommodation, and I going to shopping with my friend and the roommate, and we're going to buy some food from the Tesco or Morrison's or like a kind of a supermarket, and we go back to cooking for the friends.
Yeah. No, I've often heard of the accommodation that we have here on campus, because it's typically between 6 to 10 students. You do have students from different nationalities and different cultures, and it's really good to hear of students cooking for the other students from their home countries food and cuisine as well. So that's excellent. Yeah.
The kitchen is tight and clean and very big in the accommodation. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, good, fantastic. Thanks, Vivi. So I think I'm now going to run through a couple more slides, take you away from the fun, exciting student life of Aberystwyth, which I'm sure you're all very keen to delve into next month as well. But I'll briefly bring you back to academic studies here. So firstly, just going to talk through the assistance that you have available to you whilst you are a student here at the university. So every single student is assigned a personal tutor, regardless of whether you're on a foundation course, undergraduate or postgraduate. You do have that one-to-one support available from a personal tutor throughout your time here at Aberystwyth. So if you've got any concerns, have any questions at all about your studies, then please do contact your personal tutor. That's exactly what they're there for. You will also have academic representatives within the department as well, really helpful points of contact for you. So I'll also just touch on the grading scale that we have here at UK universities. So a little bit different to schooling systems that you might have come from. So the chart that we have shown is the undergraduate grading system. So you'll need to pass by achieving 40% is the minimum that we have here at the university. And if you do fail a module, you are required to retake that module here if you fall below 40%. But within 40 to 49%, you have what's called a third class degree qualification. And then second class has two different honours levels. So you have a 2-2 between 50 to 59%, or a 2-1 between 60 to 69%. And if you achieve anything above 70%, which is absolutely fantastic, you would receive a first class degree here in the UK. And for the postgraduate side of things, it's similar. So 70% and above would be called a distinction here. So that would be shown on your degree certificate. Between 60 to 70% would be a merit, and between 50 to 60% would be a pass. So you would need 50% to pass at the master's level for MSCs and MA courses here. So yeah, hopefully that information is helpful for you. But if you have any questions at all, then yes, please consult your personal tutors. So to talk about health and medicine and the resources that you have here in the town of Aberystwyth. Despite being quite a small town, there are, of course, all of the essentials that you need here to look after your health. So firstly, the general hospital that we have, it's just down from campus where I am now. So it's situated between campus and town. If walking down from campus, is pretty much the first big building that you will see on the left-hand side of the road there. So of course that does have an emergency services room within it. And as part of your visa application process, you'll be paying that NHS health surcharge. So that will give you access to this healthcare from the hospital here in the UK. And also from your GP, your doctors. So you can register with the doctors online once you get to Aberystwyth. And we've got a number of these throughout town. And students typically would select Padarn surgery, which is just across the road from campus and the hospital. So that would be the closest located GP surgery for you. And that's where you can go if you've got any health issues that don't require an emergency appointment. Also, in terms of dentists, we have several throughout the town. Those will incur a charge if you need any dental work done whilst here in the UK. And also with eye care opticians as well. There are several of these in town. Pharmacies here in the UK, typically these exist within a Boots, a shop that you will see. I think there are 3 of them in Aberystwyth town centre. And so they're where you can pick up prescriptions and medication, again, free of charge here in the UK after your NHS self-surcharge. So lastly, before I hand over to our other student joining the call, Lucia, I'll talk about the COVID-19 situation that we have and how we expect things to look next month. I'm very glad to say that we have face-to-face teaching and that's what we're kicking off with as soon as the academic year starts here at Aberystwyth. We were fortunate enough to be able to resume face-to-face teaching towards the end of the last academic year in April. So Wales has been in a slightly advanced position in this than the rest of the UK. But the important thing is we do have that in-classroom teaching with your lecturers again from the beginning of term. And some academic departments will be offering online support. So if you face any visa application issues at all, and you need to arrive to the university late, the two main contacts to check with are the compliance team to let them know you're facing some issues, and also your academic department to make sure that you're not missing out on any key material, and if they can offer this to you online prior to your arrival. We do have a very spacious campus here at Aberystwyth, and we haven't had any overhead shots in this presentation of the campus, but it's a nice green spread out campus as well. So we found that COVID infection rates haven't been too high here, even at the start of the pandemic. So a nice socially distanced campus here on site. If you are not fully vaccinated, or if you've had one jab that we're also offering in the UK, you are able to receive your vaccinations here once you've signed up with a doctor's surgery. If you haven't received any jabs at all, but you would like to, that's absolutely fine. You can come to Aberystwyth and receive those free of charge. Of course, we have some of the support that I'd mentioned earlier in the call for our red list and amber list students. But if you've got any questions on that, please do ask us within the Q&A portion of today's webinar. And also lastly there, I've put registration deadline for 15th of October. So hopefully long before this date, you will be in Aberystwyth, and that's where you can officially register as a student of the university. But again, if you're having to study from home briefly due to any visa issues or travel issues, then please let our compliance team know. So lastly, back to a fun part, I'll pass over to Lucia to speak with you about packing and moving advice, which is coming up very, very soon for many of you, hopefully.
Hello. So I'll be giving you some advice from what I found was like the more, I don't know, interesting bits of moving to Aberystwyth. So I'd definitely say, especially this year, make sure you keep an eye on your emails, because like any information regarding moving in and like travel changes and all of that, it's going to be sent there. So like the more, not the more you take it, you need to be always taking it, of course, but like if you keep an eye on it, you'll be sure to let you know what's going to be happening. Also, if you're taking the bus, you will get your key there, as Jack mentioned earlier. But if you're traveling on your own to Aberystwyth, you might need to, well, you will need to print your key release form and book a slot to collect your key from the Aberystwyth Arts Centre. And if you're staying in university accommodation, of course. A big thing about coming to the UK from another country, or like to Aberystwyth, is packing. You have to make sure you don't pack too much, so that you pack a bit light, because you'll be having to carry all of your stuff with you into your accommodation. The best thing I can recommend for that is making a packing list. So write the things that you think you need to take with you. For example, I recommend taking a raincoat, as it will rain. And make sure you also take some like rain shoes and stuff like that, some warm clothes, but also some sunglasses, because it can get quite sunny. Also double check that you're bringing any important documents, such as like your passport, of course, as you need it for traveling, any IDs, any visa cards, anything like that, and also your medication that you take regularly or that you might need if you get a bit ill. There's obviously medication in the UK, but just in case it's not the same or something like that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it's better if you pack light, because that way you won't have to carry all of your stuff. And a great way to do that is with Uni Kit Out, because when you're packing light, you don't really want to like have to bring your bedding and like your kitchen utensils. So with Uni Kit Out, they basically deliver like your duvet and your pillow and your pillowcases and everything into your accommodation before you move in. So that's great, really, because you don't even have to worry about carrying all that stuff with you on the plane. And I'd say that's all of my advice on packing and moving. If you have any questions, please ask them at the end. Thanks.
Excellent, thanks, Lucia. And yeah, Uni Kit Out, tremendously helpful. Something I'd only found about it in the past year, but just delivering everything to that university address that we've provided, as you won't know the specific dorm that you're staying in until you arrive at Aberystwyth. You won't know exactly where your room is located, but you are able to deliver this to us, and it will be provided to you by our accommodation team. Excellent, thank you. So before we open up the chat room again, I will just really encourage you to start getting involved in our social media. So if you're not already following any of our social media channels, these are listed on the right-hand side there. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also our WeChat QR codes there. So we'll be posting regular updates on these with important travel information and just general helpful information about Aberystwyth University as well. We also have on Facebook a International 2021 entry Facebook group. And so I think that's up to almost 400 students at the moment. And we'll put a link to that in the chat if you're on Facebook and you'd like to join in on that group. Really good social platform to meet other applicants. So many students will go on there, introduce themselves, where they're from, what they're studying. And then you've got an opportunity to talk to people prior to coming who are in a similar position or share the same interests as you. Also, our staff and global ambassadors are within that Facebook group. So again, if you've got any burning questions, then you can also reach out to us there on Facebook. And also, Aber Thursdays. Well, we're in one today actually. So live on our Facebook and Instagram stories, there should be some cool information about Aberystwyth and travel advice coming up for you there as well. So we will now open back up the chat room and my colleagues will join back on camera. And it is now your opportunity to ask any questions that you have for our team. So thank you for listening to us there for a good 3/4 of an hour. Certainly appreciate that. But yeah, your opportunity to ask us any questions you have prior to travel and arrival.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Vivi. Thanks, Lucia. That was a really informative first half of the program. Keeping a very close eye on the chat. Who would like to go first with their question?
All quiet so far, but I'm sure things might speed up. Just means we've covered everything, doesn't it? I thought. Excellent. So, Lucia, are you a member of any student societies here from the Students' Union?
Yes, I am a member of quite a few societies because I really enjoy trying different things.
Oh, wonderful. What did you sign up for? I can see a few questions coming in, but I'd love to hear a bit about societies that you might be involved with first.
Oh, well, I'm happy. Well, whatever you'd like. If you'd like to answer the questions first, or well, I can say about my societies.
No, feel free to list off a couple of societies that you have, and then we can answer people's questions.
I'm currently part of the Biochemistry and Genetics Society, as that's what I'm studying, and it's really helpful with like coursework and like when you have some doubts about what like they're teaching you. And I'm also part of the Aberystwyth Conservation Society, where we do beach cleans every Saturday. Well, not every Saturday, but very regularly, or like we do path maintenance. We learned how to do hedgehog CPR, because they are an endangered species and we have quite a lot in Aberystwyth and they're really cute. So it is a really fun society.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Oh, good to hear. Giles, should we head over to some questions, as I can see them starting to appear in the chat?
Excellent. First question from Chu Yu Huang. Do we have to bring the original academic certificates to campus to register? I worry about them being lost. I think, Jack, I would imagine the answer is yes, preferably for that one. Is that right?
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, if you've got any doubts on which documents to bring and you're able to print these off, I'd advise doing so. So certainly your CAS letter that you've received, if you're able to bring a printed copy of that, that would be fantastic. And even your offer letter from the university as well. Original academic certificates, we tend not to bring any original copies, but if you are able to, well, not original copies, any original documents, if you're able to bring some copies with you, that would definitely be approved. Yeah, fantastic.
Next question from Rinkai Pati. The link of the passenger locator form, is it possible to repost that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Randy?
Yeah, our assistant on the call will be able to send that across. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Next question, Cardelan Tamiz.
I think we might have lost Giles on the call there briefly. Difficult going long-range calls from China to the UK and elsewhere. But Cardelan, I've seen your comments there in the chat box, and I've
about a CAS. I know we had an email.
Oh, I think we've lost Giles again. So Cardelan, I'll follow up straight after our webinar with you about this, and we'll speak with our admissions team and make sure there's nothing else outstanding. And if not, we'll get the CAS issued to you as soon as we can. Thank you for raising that. Great to see a couple of thank yous come in. Daria, I don't have any questions. I'm just so excited. Wonderful. Really glad to know you're excited. We look forward to welcoming you to Aberystwyth next month. And everybody should be excited. It's a fantastic place to come and live and study for a few years. Yeah, wonderful to see the excitement amongst the group there. So Esperanza, how many societies do you recommend joining? Is 3 too much? Lucia, I think this would be a good one for you, judging by how many societies it sounds like you're a part of.
Well, I definitely recommend at least giving a try to the things that sound interesting, even if you feel like it's too many. You don't really have to join all the ones that you try, but you can at least say that you've tried it, because there's societies that like you'd never expect to join. For example, dodgeball, that's a society nowadays. That's loads of fun, and like you get some sport, which is something that it's definitely great because there's so much to do outdoors. You can also do swimming, so definitely I'd recommend a sports society just to make sure that you keep active in our your like course society is always a good idea as well, because that way you can like get help with like your uni work, as I said before. But then it's also important to like have hobbies that are not like sport related and things like that. So there's loads of societies in Aberystwyth, like societies that teach you like basic first training for humans, not only hedgehogs as well. Societies where you can spend time hanging out with dogs, which I think that's a great society. It's called Aberdogs, and it's so much fun. Like Giles mentioned before, if there's a society that you're missing or a society that you think that the university and the general community could benefit from, you can definitely create that one. It's really easy. I've actually tried creating one myself, and it was a lot of fun. Didn't work out, but it was very interesting. And also there's like societies for like different regions and places. For example, I was a part of the Spanish society, and we had like some Italian people in that society as well as people from South America. And it was a lot of fun because we would do like Spanish nights where we would like play Spanish music and we would dance, and it was really enjoyable.
Oh, excellent. And Vivi, you seem to have a very active social life that you've enjoyed in Aber over the past couple of years as well. Are you a member of any societies or clubs here?
Yes, and yes, I love social life, and here is a really good place to do that. And in the daytime, we can go to the with friends, go to the beach. We talk a lot, and you know, beside this how do you say, the country, this Aberystwyth, they have a so horse. We can go to ride a horse, and the light life, we can go to bar, have a drink, and yes, a lot of it.
Yeah, no, a lot of social opportunities here, and really good places to just go hang out with friends and enjoy the beach and the promenade as well. And I'm sure a lot of societies do look to get out and about and mix up where they are meeting with their groups. But in how many societies do you recommend joining? It can definitely depend on how often they meet up and the involvement that you have within the societies as well, because they're all run by students. So typically after first year, you'll find that students want to take executive positions. And so that could eat up a lot more of your time. If you're really running one of these student societies, then that might be the only society you're able to fully commit yourself to. But if societies are meeting once a week, then joining 3 societies definitely sounds doable for you. So just managing your time, see how things are going with your studies as well. So,
am I back now, Jack?
I can hear you, Giles. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. There was just one thing I wanted to add, and I think it was really good, the up-to-the-minute feedback about the broad range of clubs and societies. I guess one point I would like to add to that is for students who are from non-native English speakers, I think it's within that environment as well. It's a great way to keep your English level ticking over and improving without the pressure of exams and assignments, and just in a more natural, casual, informal environment as well. So I think for non-native English speakers especially, I think that's a really good outlet for you, as well as the English support you'll receive outside of the classroom to really improve your English level and your confidence in speaking English while you're in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for adding that. Very, very true. So just jumping back onto the chat box here, see Cardlin again on the CAS letter. Yeah, thank you very much. I will follow up with this immediately after the call for you. Momoka, hello Momoka. So does COVID-19 test before arriving have regulations like information that you need? Okay, we will be able to, you will need to take an approved test. So the correct type of test that's going to show that you have that negative result. So we'll be able to put a link towards the the government site that informs you what kinds of tests you can take prior to travel. So please do look into the information that we're able to provide from the government site there. Daria, I still didn't get my unconditional letter. Wonder if it's okay. I should wait a little bit more. Daria, I'll also be able to follow up with you straight after this call so that we can see if anything is still outstanding in terms of your conditions, and we can confirm everything later today for you. Over to Mohammed. I have a question regarding PhD applications. I applied last July, but I didn't get any response. I sent an email a couple of days ago, but there's no information. Is that normal? Mohammed, if you're able to email us at international@aber.ac.uk, because I know a lot of the PhD application process is first finding your supervisor within a department. If you're struggling to receive a response, or if you need any additional information, please let us know. But yes, if you can please contact us at international@aber.ac.uk, and we will be able to look into that for you. Hello, Victoria from Nigeria. You've done your biometric and data capturing for the past 21 days. I've not heard anything about my visa. Please can I know the cause of visa delay? Okay, so a couple of things to follow up here. Luckily, all from countries that I'm working with, so I will check this with our admissions team straight after the call as well and get back to you, Victoria. Thank you for your patience with this. So, Natalia, will all sports clubs be available from September? Lucia's half nodding there. I'm pretty confident as well. So sports were able to resume in the UK several months ago, and sports clubs have been able to do trainings and have matches again. And I think the inter-university sports, Bucks sport it's termed, will be running again from October as well. So if you're playing on a sports club that competes against other universities, that will be taking place. But also, I'm sure all sports clubs will be having their own activities within Aberystwyth from the end of September as well. So that Freshers Week and that Freshers Fair, the opportunity to go and speak to all of these sports clubs, that would be a great opportunity to find out more from each club there as well. We are located right by the sports centre here in our offices, and I'm seeing lots of teams training at the moment. So the sport life is still very active here at Aberystwyth. When does Teaching and Welcome Week start? Thank you, Kahara. So the Welcome Week is from September 27th through until October 3rd, which will be the Sunday. And then your teaching will typically start on October 4th. So that Monday at the beginning of October. We did push things back by 1 week. So if you'd received an offer letter much earlier in 2021, it may have dates showing us a week forward there. But the university did push these back just to give us a bit more time to adapt and get any students here that might need to quarantine as well. So yes, those are the dates for you for Welcome Week and teaching. Esperanza, can't wait to join a society. That's fantastic news. Yeah, best of luck with it. If there are lots you're unsure of with joining societies, typically we see a lot of students walk around the fairs and sign up to pretty much everything they've got an interest in as well. So putting down your email address and then making decisions later on as well once they've contacted you. So don't be afraid to sign up to more clubs than you think you can manage. So, Momoka, about bed sets and bedding, excellent. I want to choose them by going to the store and picking them up, but I have to self-quarantine. Okay, yes, coming from an amber-listed country. Can I borrow bed set during quarantine time? I believe the accommodation team do have some bed sets that can be allocated for a shorter period of time if you're really struggling here. Lucia or Vivi, have you experienced anything like this within university accommodation?
I have borrowed a set from university accommodation a few years back. There was no COVID yet, so I don't know if maybe it works different. But I had to recite an exam in August, and I stayed in Court Mauer for a week, and I was allowed to borrow some bedding. But I am not entirely sure. Sorry.
That's okay. So, Momoka, that option might be available to you if you're able to email our accommodation team at accommodation@aber.ac.uk and ask what options are available to you. But again, on Uni Kit Out, there is a good selection there of bedding at varying standards and prices. Depending on how luxurious you want your bedding setup to be. So I'd advise taking a look at that and seeing if you can have any delivered to the university address prior to your arrival. So Rinkai, I never heard of Welsh until I discovered Aberystwyth. So excited to learn the language in person from the locals there later. Oh, excellent. We do have a number of international students who come in and really immerse themselves in the culture and the Welsh language that's available here in Wales. So personally, I'm yet to learn much Welsh. For anybody else listening on the call thinking, do I need to learn any Welsh? No, you are able to get by perfectly fine just with English. Of course, all of your classes are delivered in English as well. But there are opportunities for Welsh lessons that you can study here at Aberystwyth as well. So there are language courses available to you. Anybody else on the call had a bit of a chance to learn any Welsh yet?
Like the basics, like saying hello, saying thank you, saying welcome,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful language, and you may hear it whilst you're walking around town. You might hear a couple of local people conversing in Welsh, and you do really turn around and think, oh, it's a really lovely language. So yeah, excellent if you are able to throw yourself in and learn some Welsh during your time here. That would be fantastic. Victoria, if you're not staying in the university accommodation, can someone stay in the university accommodation during the 10 days isolation and thereafter went to the booked apartment in town after the isolation? This may be something we're able to support with. We need to see how many rooms that we might have available once all students have confirmed and booked up their university term time. Please don't worry about this. There will be support for you. So if you've got any concerns and you'd like to email us, please do email us at the international@aber email address, and we can help point you in the right direction in terms of accommodation. See if there are any options available for you on campus. Fantastic. There, a link for COVID tests before traveling. So that should be a useful resource for many of you on the call there, if you'd like to save that link as well. Eager to form a society with Russian card games, coming in from Daria. Wow, fantastic. I think that would be a big hit. I think that would be a real success. So best of luck.
I might join it. You might see me there playing card games with you. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it does sound like an awful lot of fun. No. Andy's put in, sounds intriguing, go for it. Yeah, excellent. On the Aber SU website, there would be a link under the societies page of who to contact if you're keen to set up a society. So if this is something you're really genuinely interested in doing and having even advertised during that Freshers Week, then I'm sure our Students' Union will be able to support you with that. So fantastic to hear. Mohammed's already started some courses on a YouTube channel offering Welsh. Brilliant. That will put you more advanced than I am already. So well done. That's absolutely fantastic. And Lucia, must be a good question for you here, coming in from Esperanza. Is the Spanish Society still active? Can't find it in the societies list. Sad face from Lucia at the moment.
Unfortunately, with COVID, we didn't get enough members. So the society kind of didn't die out, but it's just waiting to be revived. We did have a group chat with a lot of people interested, but no one was keen enough to take on the roles of president and secretary. So if that's something that you're interested in, we definitely would be willing to have that back on again, because it was a lot of fun.
Have you got a sense, Lucia, of how many students we have, Spanish students we have at Aberystwyth at the moment?
Let me double check it 1 second. If that's all right.
Of course, yeah. Well, with good timing, our assistant Andy is putting on the side a link to starting up a new society, Esperanza. So maybe something you can inquire about further.
Sorry, about the Spanish society. It's even easier than starting a new society, as it's already a society that already has a constitution and already has the roles and what they do, which is even easier than starting it from zero or from scratch. So basically it just needs emails of people. Because when you create a society, you need to create a constitution with it and lots of different things. I don't know if that makes any sense. And I checked the group, but I cannot see how many members there are.
Yeah. Maybe it's just gone into hibernation. It's gonna come back out for the autumn season, right?
Yeah, I'd say that I've met, there's around 20 to 30 people that speak Spanish, are Spanish speakers, not necessarily from Spain, but I haven't met everyone, obviously.
No, so a good number to revive the society then. That's excellent. From Chile, excellent, yeah, of course. Fantastic. So Natalia, a further question here. What documents do we need to bring to registration? So the registration being referred to during the presentation is going to be online. So it's on your student record, which is a site you can access once you're here in Aberystwyth and on the Aberystwyth network here. So all of the documents should already be applied to your student account. It would just be a case of selecting the modules that you're going to be studying if you do have some optional modules. Lucia, was there anything additional in terms of registration when you were a first year that you had to show?
Oh, my registration was in person, so it might be a bit different.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and please don't worry, Natalia. You will be emailed all of the relevant information about this over the coming weeks as well.
I guess I have a question, because I haven't had the chance to visit Aber just yet. How is the town generally now in terms of the COVID situation? Do you feel, Lucia, if you go back from the very beginning, and Vivi as well, do you kind of feel that it's starting to get back to normal, or is there still a lot of caution around? What's the atmosphere like?
I'm not in Aberystwyth at the moment, so if Vivi, you would like to go first, and then I'll say what I remember.
Okay, I think now it is back to normal, and all the shop is open now, and the bar, the other shop is all open now, and you just go to the shop with the marks, and it will be fine. So yeah, they locked down for a long time, but now it's back to normal. Yeah.
That's great. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, from where I remember, because I live on the seafront, so I always see the seafront, and there were loads of people having ice creams in, like, I think July. That's around when I left, and we were quite lucky because we were in like a COVID bubble where we didn't have that many cases, so we were really fortunate. And yeah, I remember it getting back to normal as well. So.
Yeah, you may still see some masks being used in Aberystwyth in certain shops and on public transports as well. And then people are still wearing masks. If you're going out to somewhere to eat, such as a restaurant or a cafe, or going out for a drink, then any of those hospitality places don't require you to wear masks as well. But yeah, as everybody's mentioned, it is definitely coming back to life here in Aberystwyth. The feeling is really good. Tourism's certainly kicked off again here over summer. There have been plenty of people around the beach and in the town centre, and yeah, case numbers are really low. So it's a really safe environment at the moment here in Aberystwyth, and certainly from my aspect feels back to normal.
That's great to hear. And as you're aware, we're communicating with students who are still quite not sure about making the decision. So it's really good news to be able to relay to them that it's a much more improved situation than previously, and that we're almost, as you were saying a bit earlier, back to normal. So really good news.
I can see one more question come in there from Rinkai about potentially only being able to travel in first week in October, where some classes might have started already. So again, yeah, I'd definitely advise emailing your department about this, but also our Malaysia staff team will certainly be able to help you with this. So if you're not in contact with them already, which I imagine you will be, their address is malstaff@aber.ac.uk, which we'll be able to put in the chat for you as well. So if you contact the team that are currently out in Malaysia, they'll be very familiar with any difficulties you might unfortunately be facing at the moment. They will help you to get over to Aber. Excellent, thank you, Andy.
Feels as though that's almost a wrap, unless there are any last minute questions that have yet to be asked. If not, I would like to thank Vivi, Lucia, Jack, Andy for an outstanding job. Thanks so much for your time. Me as a fairly new member of staff, it's been incredibly informative. So thanks for your support this evening. And all of you, I look forward to seeing in person, hopefully not before too much longer.
Wonderful.
I think there's another question. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. From Daria, is there any email or someone to contact to know more about uni kit out and specifically the date of the delivery? Yes, I would advise contacting the accommodation team about this, Daria. So accommodation@aber.ac.uk. They're the most familiar and knowledgeable about uni kit out, but also I know some of our staff members in our international team have even used the service as well. So please feel free to ask us as a team also. If you want to just copy both addresses in, then that would be great. That's okay. Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you everybody, and yeah, again, great to see the buzz and excitement amongst you all to attend Aberystwyth in the coming weeks and months, and we can't wait to welcome you here. So,
yeah, see you soon.
Thanks everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.